Hey YouTube, welcome back to the vlog. It is week 4 of training for Big Sur. It's a Tuesday night. Mom has to coach volleyball, so it's just my brother and I back home. I went to go to Goodwill and ran some errands. What did I even do? I went to Whole Foods and I bought walnuts. I got a pair of heels at Goodwill, which was good. The thrift store I wanted to go to was closed. I ended up not thrifting in vlog 3, so that's on my docket for tomorrow, but I'm back home now and I was just going through old stuff as one does, and I found all of my old high school journals and collages. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that I was really into art in high school. I was in AP art and I think I killed off that passion because I wasn't the best at it. I don't remember if it was YouTube or TikTok, excuse me repeating myself, but I mentioned somewhere on the internet that I'm really passionate about getting creative again and collaging and making artwork, even if it's for nothing besides myself to see and enjoy doing it, just to do something with my hands, do something that's creative, get off my phone. Here at home, looking through my collages that I did, primarily like 2015 through 2017, and it's really beautiful to see the concerns I had. I was really worried about having a path because in high school I felt like I had a million things I wanted to do, and I'm really happy with myself that I've stuck true to myself and not fallen in a path. I'm really proud of myself to see where I am now. A lot of these journals were just talking about like, I want to make it to New York, I want to get out of here, and I really want to do big things with my life. And I was looking at photos of my run club and the photo of the Empire State Building in the back of me running with a bunch of other people for an event that I'm hosting, that I'm sponsored. Like, I don't think I could have dreamed of that when I was 17. So it's really beautiful because I feel in a really dark place, as I've said in these videos. And I remember when I was 17, I was in a really dark place, and that's when I really got into artwork and journaling. Sorry if my voice is getting all emotional. I was crying in the car a little bit too. I remember how dark it was when I was 17 and I didn't think I was gonna make it out. I didn't think I was going to be able to make it in New York. I didn't know what I was going to do career-wise. I hated my body. I hated volleyball. Like, I was a mess. And just to think that my best days were right after that. Once I moved to New York, I really figured it out super fast. Like an internship, I had a very wonderful professor that I still am in contact with to this day that really pushed me to pursue a law degree, and she pushed my academics just in a direction that I didn't think I was smart enough to pursue, and I'm so grateful for her mentorship during that time. I started getting connected with a lot of brands. I started networking. I didn't know a single person when I moved to New York, and to think about all of the beautiful just connections and opportunities I've had since I've been there. It's crazy that I've been there for 6 years, almost 7. I know that this is going to be a tough time for me to get out of this little hole that I'm in, but reading these journals has just reminded me that you've done this before, Kate. You've gotten yourself out of deeper holes and deeper slumps, and believing in yourself is the only thing that's gonna get you through all of that. I'm gonna go sit in my mom's Normatec recovery boots, wait for her to get home for practice, and then we'll run tomorrow because that's what we do, because we're training for a marathon. It's funny, in one of these journals, I was like, I feel like I'm running a marathon, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, girl, don't worry, you will. Did I tell you guys I hated running? Like up until a few years ago? Yeah. Me running a marathon at 17 was not on my radar at all. But that's enough about that. Welcome to week 4. Let's get into it. Morning YouTube. We are on Lake Harriet. We're gonna go on a 5-mile run. I needed a little change of scenery. Last night we were journaling, we were reflecting on our eating disorder and body image. And to be honest, my body is something that I still struggle with, okay? But I say this a lot, I don't act on my impulses anymore, but the voice is still there, and seeing my body change through marathon training, through an injury, eats away at me sometimes. Sometimes I entirely forget because I do remember that my body's a vessel to get me towards my goals, and if I don't take care of it, I'm gonna go so far backward. But I think the idea that I've been playing with the past few months or so is don't look back, you're not going that way. I think I have this idea of I'm gonna be a better runner if I'm thinner, and so I can't view myself having more muscle and being faster than what I was, or just being in a bigger body. I'm trying to trust that this path that I'm on is gonna get me to be even greater than the way that I was before. Clearly, thinness isn't equal to health, because when I was thinner, I was not healthier, I could not perform, but something, that evil little voice in my head tells me that I have to be thinner in order to be a better runner. So it's weird because eating disorders are so illogical. It's like you can argue yourself out of arguments sometimes, but then you feel like it is so grounded in reality that you can't battle the voice sometimes. So we're gonna go run 5 miles in my dad's car. It feels really weird. And yeah, I leave on Friday. It's a Wednesday today, so a few more days with my family, and then I have to screw my head back on and figure out run club, figure out if I'm going to travel, figure out other partnerships. I've been kind of procrastinating it, just out of fear of failure, fear of things not working out the way I want. So we got to get to work and send some emails and do some work stuff very soon. Let's go enjoy our run, and happy Wednesday. The book that I'm reading for this week is called What's Eating Us. My eating disorder when I was 17, I went to outpatient treatment and I restored my weight pretty quickly, so I never had to go into intensive inpatient stuff. I had a doctor, I had a therapist, I had a team, but I sort of just ripped off the Band-Aid, gained a lot of weight quickly because I felt a lot of stigma and shame associated with my eating disorder. I also wasn't underweight. I had a lot of muscle mass in my body, just very low fat. It caused me to lose my period, and that caused all my health issues to go awry. But on the outside, a lot of people didn't even think that I had an eating disorder, which was really crippling and debilitating at the time, because you didn't feel like, oh, I didn't even have an eating disorder good enough because no one could tell that I was struggling, right? Like, people didn't notice it, and it almost made me feel more uncomfortable with the fact that I was struggling, but no one believed me. Figured out my shit, I gained some weight, I went off to NYU, and my parents trusted me enough at the time that you're gonna get your shit together, we trust you out there. And I did for a bit. It was up and down, right? But I was playing college volleyball, I was really motivated about making it in New York and making volleyball work, making school work, etc. There was one summer when I relapsed back here, and it was like my junior year. Everything just hit a breaking point. I was dissatisfied with my body, I didn't have deep friendships, I didn't even have my first kiss yet, and I felt so behind on that. School was all over the place. I had to sort of make a path in my junior year, and I didn't want to have to decide, like, am I going to do fashion? Am I going to do politics? Am I going to do journalism? I was all over the place in my interest all of my life, and so having to decide a path really freaked me out. And then I wanted to control something, so I relapsed back to control my body. And the book so far, about 30 pages in, is really, really gripping me. There's moments when I still think about my body. If not every day, I make silent comments to myself. I never am restricting my food. I'm very happy that I'm beyond that part of the eating disorder. But the book talks about how we live in a culture where eating disorder shit is everywhere. And I think the biggest realization I've had right now is that a lot of us recover physically from our eating disorder, right? And some of us would even say, myself included, that no, I've recovered emotionally. I've recovered psychologically from my eating disorder. We live in a society where 91% of women, in the book statistic, struggle with their body image, struggle with food. And every single woman in America is struggling with body image or struggling with food or a combination of both. It is really hard to beat the norm. Hi everyone, we go back to New York tomorrow. For some reason my camera's not charging, so I have not recorded a lot. But I just went through some stuff in the basement. Found some birthday cards that my dad kept that I didn't even know about. I started reading the book called What's Eating Us for this video, and I'm just feeling very emotional thinking about my eating disorder. Whenever I'm home, I feel like my 17-year-old self, but then again, I think about who I've become now and how proud and astonished 17-year-old Kate would be of where I am now. Book a trip to Paris, which I'm gonna do now, and then my mom will get home from practice and we'll hang out a little bit. But it's going okay. Life is not linear, and I'll be back in New York tomorrow. Also, my lettuce is fucking crazy, which is good, but I'm gonna be a rabbit the next few days because, yeah, no one's been eating it. I got a weighted blanket from Barabee. Thank you, Barabee. And guys, look at my Snoopies. I miss the squad so much. I'm insane. I know that, don't worry. Hi YouTube, we're back in New York City. Let's chat. So yesterday was Friday. I got on a flight at 1 p.m. and I came back. Obviously it was very emotional to leave my family, leave my mom. Cried kind of like on the whole flight home. Both books on the flight home. So the book Running Home, which was from the previous video, I still haven't finished yet. It was like 400 pages long. So I finished up that book and the author talks about ultra running. And I've always said, Mom, if you hear me ever sign up for a 50-mile race, like, tell me I'm crazy and like take me out. But I'm not saying now, but there's a possibility one day. I think the trail aspect of running an ultra freaks me out, like I would break my ankle or something. But all I'm gonna say is I am semi-interested in running a 50K, 50-mile race one day. I don't know. It's interesting. The author talks about how women are actually better athletically suited and biologically suited to run like ultra distances than men are. And she randomly like wins a race. And she's an exceptional athlete, Katie Arnold, but she like randomly won a race. She didn't even know when she was running her first ultra. Like she stopped at an aid station and they were like, first female. And she was like, what do you mean I'm first? So I don't know. Maybe that could be something I explore. Not now, not now. I have a lot of time left with running. As I've said, like I want to run as long as I can. I don't want to make running not fun, but maybe when I'm 30, I'll do some ultra shit. Who knows? Secondly, I read the book What's Eating Us, which is for this video, and it's really sad. It says a lot of like eating disorder shit in the book. So if you're at a place where you're not ready to read that, the book is a little triggering. But the author's very honest. One of her friends was dying, like very tragically, and they went out to Noodles and Company or something, and she writes down like, the first thing I thought about was like, am I gonna eat carbs? And then she was like, holy shit, like my friend is dying, and that's like what my brain is thinking about. But it's really honest and real about eating disorder stuff because there are a lot of stigmas. You know, it's a white woman's disease. She talks about the racial disparities with eating disorders and how Black women are oftentimes undiagnosed and untreated when it comes to eating disorders. It really makes me think about recovery and like the reasons why I choose to recover, because some thoughts come up. And the grounding piece that I have is like, I don't want to get injured and fuck myself up and not be able to run. And I know that will happen if I do restrict my food and question any of that. Try to lose weight, that's where a stress fracture will come in. And so I've just been accepting being in a like bigger body for me. But it is really hard when diet culture is everywhere. And the author makes a really good point about how even if you are fully recovered, you're gonna come into contact with another woman that has experienced an eating disorder, who maybe says stuff that triggers your eating disorder. You're gonna see it on your phone, you're gonna see it on billboards. It's everywhere, and you have to be so secure in yourself that you know you're not gonna go back to that place. We'll chat more about the book later, but it's a Saturday. I have a long run ahead. I have some goos here, which I'll take on my run. I really like this brand Goo, and I think they're the most like universal brand, and I think some people are like, these don't digest well or they're not good, but they're fine for me. I mean, it is sugar, right? Like, orthorexia warning, like if you don't want to just like chug sugar, you're gonna have to suck it up and do it for marathon training. So I think this is the longest I've been away from my New York City apartment. Most of the time when I would go home for my winter break, spring break, Thanksgiving, and college, it'd be under a week, and I was home for like 2+ weeks. So when I got into my apartment, I was like, whoa, I totally forgot about this routine and this life. I just feel really disconnected from New York right now. So I'm excited to treat this run as a way to explore the city, get back out, get my feet going again. The temperature is kind of the same as Minnesota, so it's not gonna be anything crazy. Allegedly it's gonna snow later, but I don't really believe that. So I'm gonna drink my coffee here with my new little mug that I thrifted. I'm gonna eat my oatmeal. I already took our favorite substance, drink our coffee, and then let's go get this 10-mile run done. Hi YouTube. I just did 10 miles at a faster pace than I've ever run, probably in like 3 to 4 years. My injury really fucked me up, and just all the shit I've been through this year, just bad guys that I dated that fucked me up mentally. My dad passing, I just feel like I've had so much shit that I can't release. And that run was just the perfect release, just clean slate. Life gives you shit and you have to just go. I feel like I can endure anything. I just feel so much more invincible now that I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared of pushing myself. I mean, I was flying in the 7s when I was running, and that's something that I haven't been able to do confidently for years. Trust my body, and also just to know that no one got me there. Like, obviously I have help and I have a support system, but at the end of the day, the reason that I was able to do that run is because I put in so much work this past year. So much work. And I feel like I document a lot of it, but a lot of it is this kind of stuff that I think people don't see. Writing every day. I'm trying to do everything for my health. Take running so seriously, and I've just been waiting for a little bit of a break. That was just an emotional run. First run back, and I just think that really cleared my head. Honestly, I'm kind of scared, I think, to take this next step in life, wherever that is. I feel like I don't have a set direction and path. But I have myself, and I've made it through everything before, so I'm gonna be okay. But that was week 4 of Big Sur. I'm so fucking happy right now. I can't believe my body did that. So let's go eat something, recover, get on with our day. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. It really means so much, and I'm so excited to keep on training. What's up, YouTube? It's a Monday morning. We're here with Olaf. Isn't he so cute? Like, look at his tongue. This is Snoopy's brother, my plush doll, if you didn't know. We have 6 miles. I want to go see the sunset. I don't know, sometimes your body just wakes you up at 6 a.m. and you gotta Millie rock with it. So we're gonna go run. Bye to Olaf. I'll see you later, but let's have a good Monday. Hi everyone, it's a Monday. I'm on my way to physical therapy and I haven't seen my PT Mike since like early December, probably a month. So I'm super excited. I love physical therapy and like learning about my body. So let's go to PT. Hi YouTube, it's a Monday. Week 4 of Big Sur Marathon training is officially done. And we're gonna talk about the book that I read for this video called What's Eating Us. So this book talks about eating disorder recovery and just how prevalent eating disorders are in society. I think the book is really good for anyone who has done a lot of work on their eating disorder. I would not recommend this book if you're in the thick of like your first round of maybe inpatient, outpatient treatment, because it is triggering. It does talk a lot in depth and it does give a lot of triggering thoughts that the author has. She talks about her experience relapsing and she does give a lot of very like problematic, unfiltered thoughts that you have once you've had an eating disorder. I found the book to be really refreshing because the author just sort of poses this question of like, is recovery possible? How could women stop having eating disorders in society? What would have to change when it comes to our government systems, our healthcare systems, doctors using the BMI and treating that as like a really profound metric, the amount of money that the diet industry has for lobbying. The author brings up the fact that we spend more money looking at solutions for back pain, which doesn't lead to death most times, versus anorexia, which leads to a significant amount of death in the country. The author also talks about orthorexia. She talks about how the new diet is sort of taking care of your health, which I think is a slippery slope. And I think there's very blurred lines when it comes to talking about health and wellness. People do not say, I'm going on a diet. People say, I'm getting healthy or I'm going gluten-free. And a lot of times when it comes to healthy choices, they sound good on their face, but I think people can use that in very restrictive ways to hide an eating disorder. Not saying that all people do. There's like various reasons like why you'd go gluten-free or why you would take care of your health or why you would get into running or something like that. But I think the author talks about how the diet industry very much knows that people are interested in health and wellness. People outright don't want to say that they're dieting. And so companies like Weight Watchers have shifted their marketing and their language when it comes to what they choose to promote. The author does a good point of talking about the fact that we don't have uniform eating disorder treatment in the country. It's in a clinically studied way to treat an eating disorder. Eating disorder practitioners use different methods when it comes to treating someone with anorexia, bulimia. And so if you go to one person, it's going to be very different. And that's all to say that practitioners are kind of willy-nilly trying to treat eating disorders. Oftentimes when people are therapists, they'll write down that they can specialize in eating disorder treatment, even if they haven't gotten any sort of special certification or knowledge about how to fix eating disorders. The author also talks about how anorexia should not be framed as something similar to alcohol addiction, because when we think about that, we have to eat every single day. If you're addicted to alcohol, the solution is to cut it out. You can't cut out eating. And she talks about how your brain is malfunctioning when you have an eating disorder, which I found to be significantly true. Your brain takes up 20% of the calories that you need in a day to function. So when you are in the thick of an eating disorder, the reason you feel so illogical is because your brain is not working. And so we should not say that people have bad willpower or this like Protestant work ethic that tells people like you're a failure if you can't solve your eating disorder. But in reality, your brain is not working. We need to take this like it's a brain disease and we need to treat people of that accord versus making it feel like it's an individual failure when diet culture is everywhere. As I mentioned before, most women have some sort of body image food issue. And so it's really hard to exist and fight those things when you see it in all facets of society. DMs from you guys that some people liked it, some people didn't. So curious to hear your thoughts if you've been reading along. And I'm so excited to continue ramping up my mileage, pick out the book for the next week, and just get back into the routine in New York City. So I hope you guys all have a good rest of your week whenever this video finds you, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.